Hello, sorry.
Come on, more enthusiasm. You can do it. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast with me, Mod Jane. And today I have with me, once again, the lovely Mod Osborne.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. I just can't stay away from these podcasts.
You
I love
can't,
them.
can you? How are you today?
I'm very good. I'm fab. I've just done a video.
Yeah.
BTS video. So I'm an international jet setter. I'm doing all sorts today.
You are.
But I've got my shoes off and my socks are getting aired.
Yeah. And I have to say, they're not pink today.
They are black and grey. I'm disappointed in myself. They're rubbish.
You really need to start dressing up.
I know.
Podcasts,
I like
right?
that we're getting sock updates every podcast. I think this needs to happen.
Exactly. That's brilliant. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the Future Quests.
Yes, the Future Quest poll.
Yes.
Yeah, that we've just released or are about to release.
Yes,
on time.
it depends on when you're listening to this.
Yeah. Or it's finished.
Yeah, it could be.
And you're listening about a year on.
It could be finished and we could have done it and played the quest.
Yeah, exactly. And you're cursing us for making that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're listening to this and the poll's not out yet.
Yeah,
so
indeed.
What's going to be on the poll?
So the poll is quite simple. It's asking you to determine a quest for one of the slots that we've got coming out this year. Mm-hmm. One of the quest slots. And the initial poll is about whether or not you want a 6th age quest, a continuation quest, so that's of an existing quest line, to get another quest in that series, or if you want something standalone, something that doesn't, like bringing home the bacon, something that just sits on its own, or whether you don't really want a quest at all, which, I don't think anybody should choose that option.
No.
Yeah, if they could avoid that one, that'd be great.
Oh,
but
good.
And each of those options has a little bit of option text that tells you the quest that will be in a second poll. And that second poll comes out next month.
Okay.
So that is, April. I've got to work this out. So it will come out in April and we will poll you on the individual options, on the individual quests.
Okay.
And so, for example, for 6th age, there'll be a Tusker quest, there'll be a Sorrowing quest. If it's a continuation, you've got pirates, gnomes. Right. And standalone, we've got time travel, comedy, romance, that sort of thing.
Ooh, yeah. Sounds really exciting. So through these polls then, the players are basically deciding which direction it goes? Yeah,
absolutely. So we know that we want to do a quest for the month that we have in mind. Mm-hmm. We had a nice balance for the year. In terms of having some 6th age, we've got the elves, which is a continuation. Mm-hmm. We've got standalone ones. So we thought, right, now we've got that balance, that one slot we have remaining, let's put that to the players. Yeah. And really, because this is the year about kind of power to the players, player involvement, we really need to do that. And I think it's great that you guys can get involved on it.
Well, that's good. And not only that, they're going to get involved in this podcast because they've given us some questions.
Yeah, we've got some questions. So I'm intrigued.
I shall flip
the
sheet.
Okay.
And
why do I feel like I'm in a test?
I know. At least it's not against the clock. It's not against the clock. It's fine. You're fine.
Good.
So the first one up is from Arian Frost.
Okay.
Does this mean there won't be any quests from April to June? Is this poll for deciding which next storyline should be developed, and does it mean that you haven't decided anything yet?
Oh, so that's a couple of questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're good questions. So please don't think that we are not releasing any other quests. So this is very much, we have a slot towards the end of the year that we know that we want to have a quest in there. Okay. And it's just determining what fills that slot. It's not a case of we're going to put everything on the back burner until it comes out. By no means at all. In fact, we have far more quests than last year in development for this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm confident that we'll be hitting a decent total that people will like for quests this year. Okay. And so the second question was, does this mean have we decided anything? That's it. I remember.
Yeah.
So it's strange because each of the individual options, we have different stages of decision. Mm-hmm. So, for example, the pirates and gnomes, we put together a kind of a brief of what we would like to do. For the previous poll, we had a poll about that last year, didn't we?
Yes.
The dwarves won.
Yeah.
And so there was a kind of an overview for each of them was produced by the separate curators. So there is a little bit of information that has been already decided, but I would imagine the players will get involved. We'll get them involved in that. There's still room for change. And other quests that we've got on the list are further back in development. Mm-hmm. So, for example, Tusker, we know what we want to do with Tusker. We know we want her in the world. We know we want her careening around the world, just kind of breaking things apart. But we haven't got a design overview for it, for example. So there are various stages.
Okay. Well, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, Runic Lord. Will the losing options be polled again in the near future? what will happen to the losing options?
So I'm hoping that you will notice when you look at the poll that we have pirates and gnomes there.
Yep.
So this gives you a really good idea of what is going to happen to losing options. Pirates and gnomes lost against the dwarves last year, but they're still being polled this time. It's not our intention to suddenly abandon anything that doesn't get chosen, not by any means.
Okay.
And those options could be polled later. We could just decide to make a quest from them because they were popular. We could just because it doesn't win in the opening poll or the second poll doesn't mean that they won't be a quest in the next year, in the next 2 years.
Right.
It's just determining what fills that slot in November.
I do miss my pirates. I love pirate quests.
Sorry, I said November. It might be a little bit later than that. Apologies. You love your pirates.
I do.
Yeah.
I do like pirates. I love it when we do Talk Like a Pirate Day. We need more pirates.
What's the favourite letter of a pirate?
R.
No! First love be the sea! Oh, never gets old.
Oh, okay. All right. I lost that one. Ridian Guthics.
Yes.
Would any of the next in-series quests be the final quest of the respective storyline if they're chosen, like how the dwarf quest was?
I'm going to give another annoying answer, I'm afraid, and it's very much on a case-by-case basis. There are some of them that really do feel like they're reaching culmination of those continuation quests, and that includes the gnomes. I think that would be the end of the gnome storyline in terms of Sandra and the dog.
Right.
The dark gnomes. But other quest series, I think, have a little bit more legs.
Yeah.
Penguins, for example.
Yep.
I really see them going on for quite a while with almost serialised, that matinee feel. There's a new adventure and a new way of stopping the world every episode, as it were. So some of them, no.
Okay. All right. Ice Metroid. Should one of the continuing quest series win, can we expect to see new areas to be unlocked? Oh my god.
Elf Quest's not enough. Elf City's not enough.
No.
But yeah, I completely see where you're coming from. When you're picking that option, you want to know whether or not you're going to get to explore somewhere huge, somewhere new. Yeah. You're going to get yourself a new Dorgish Khan or what have you.
Yes.
There will be, for example, with the gnomes, we've already gone into a little bit of Alpasandra. I'm imagining absolutely that will will open up more of that city. Acheron, for example, is something that I don't feel necessarily has to come with the penguin content.
Right.
The penguin content get themselves into all sorts of hijinks and different areas. It might be that Acheron doesn't even exist for all we know. Yeah. This is the kind of thing that I can imagine with the penguins. They're very farcical, but we're not moving in any kind of real direction with the penguins. So I don't feel Acheron necessarily has to come with that content. We could go somewhere completely different. So again, it's on a per quest basis. I think the one that definitely won't come out is if it's the desert, you will not be getting Menaphos.
Okay.
We can't, Menaphos really has to have a certain amount of work lavished on it. And in the same year that we are doing Prifddinas, I think that and Menaphos would be too much for us.
Yes.
I don't think we would do it justice. So I think the people out there would want us to spend more time on doing Menaphos right.
Okay, that's fair enough. So Rafutar.
Rafutar.
Is that right? Rafutar?
I like it, no.
Yeah?
We're going to do it in a more dramatic way. I think that's
Rafutar. One of the 6-day themes is Aviancy.
Aviancy, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You got it, you nailed it.
I nearly got there. I thought there was already a quest in development which featured that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we've done podcasts in the past. In fact, I think we did 2 on Rite of Passage, which was set in on Abana, the Aviancy homeworld, and explored a little bit of what it was like to be an Aviancy and the Rite of Passage to become an adult. That quest hasn't gone away, not at all. What it is you may be aware that Mod Raven, who was developing that quest, has recently finished and released One of a Kind.
Yes.
So he jumped on One of a Kind and did that, and produced that from scratch. And that meant that he wasn't able to work on Rite of Passage. The Aviancy quest that's in this poll is Rite of Passage. Okay. It is that quest we were talking about. So if you go back, root around for that old podcast, have a listen to it, that is the one you would be voting on.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah. And a non-troll.
An anonymous troll. So if trolls are named after the things they eat. So anonymous troll ate an anonymous person. I like it. It's good. It's interesting. Okay, sorry, I just went off on one.
You did a little bit. He says, I love me a good elemental workshop quest.
Right. I love me a good elemental quest.
I loves it, I do.
Slap my thigh. There we go.
Where did that accent come from? I don't know. So would the finale bring in soul runes?
Oh my. So first of all, you can't assume necessarily the elemental workshop's going to be a finale. I remember, so Dylan Dylan, the original creator of the Elemental Workshop series, who's kind of jet-setting around the world as we speak, put down a kind of notion of what he wanted to do with the Elemental Workshop quest, and this certainly wouldn't be a finale. If he had his way, there would be multiple quests after this. We're talking 10, 12 quests in that series.
No.
I don't see this one as being a finale, but it's very much in the kind of that spiritual sequel to all of them. So taking a new element, following it through a new puzzle, and getting to know more of the story of the Elemental Workshop. So it wouldn't be a culmination. Whether or not there'd be a soul one at the end of all of this, and whether or not the soul altar would be at the bottom of it, that's an interesting discussion. I mean, the soul altar's come up quite a bit. I've been talking about possibility of it maybe being a feature of the Elf City, for example.
Right.
So I'm hearing more and more chatter about the soul altar. Who knows? Who
Okay,
knows?
so we'll have to keep our eye on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Possuma wants to know why there's no vampire quest option for the next poll.
Yes, it raises a really good point, which is obviously with this poll, it's not comprehensive. There are a number of things, Dungeoneering Floor 61 Saga, the Vampire quests, a number of 6th Age quests that people have pointed out that aren't on the list. There are a number of reasons for that. I mean, one of the main ones is that please do remember that this is just one slot in this year. There are a number of quests we're actually releasing this year that we haven't put up for poll because we're working on them. So there are quests that you can expect that aren't being polled. There are also this slot, because this is the year of the Elf Grandmaster quest, the Elf City.
Yep.
It has to be of a certain size. It's not small, but it's also not huge either. It can't be massive. And for me, the vampire storyline, the next quest in that series, has to be big. It has to really kind of... I'd like to go into Drakan's castle. I'd like to go further into Darkmare. I'd like to meet Drakan. That means a certain degree of lavish work being put into it. And so that isn't something that we see for 2014.
Right.
But it's really something we want to do a lot. And I think Mod Anna would love to do it.
Yeah.
I think not a week goes by without an email from Mod Anna or coming over to talk about doing it. Yeah, please let me kill somebody else, she says. So yeah, vampires is something we really want to do, but not in this poll.
Okay, all right. And Cat Thulu.
Cat Thulu? Oh, that's excellent. Cat Thulu. That's a cat with tentacles. Brilliant.
What about Raptor?
Yeah, the raptor. We haven't forgotten about the raptor. So some of the quests... So we tried to give you the main conceit, the main theme of each of the quests that are polled. It's certainly possible, just like Xenia showed up in Carnelian Rising, just as Sarayan was in Death of Chivalry, the raptor could feature in some of these quests that we're polling. We also have content that we do plan for the raptor to feature in, not necessarily quests. So don't worry, the raptor, who we all think is crazily awesome. I know that Matt, he wants to make some... I'm probably ruining it now. He wants to make some armour that looks like the raptor. I can just imagine him walking around RuneFest with that and looking pretty damn cool.
Oh, that would actually be great. Really cool.
Yeah, I think I'd want a photo of that. Yes, and so the raptor could feature, but we haven't put that in as the core part of the poll.
Okay. Do you want to see more though from the raptor?
Yeah,
definitely. Zoli Ben. How many quests are left for penguins, gnomes, and pirates?
So penguins, potentially infinite. That's a scary prospect.
I love that, though.
Yeah, like a matinee serial. If that kind of the Flash Gordon-esque thing of just another adventure. Exactly. There's always another thing to parody.
Yep.
And another scrape to get into, or another world to try to destroy.
Yeah.
With the gnomes, as I've said, it looks like a finale to me.
Yes.
Pirates. That's more up in the air for the developer. There are two developers who are very keen to work on it. One who produced Clockwork Syringe, and another, Tony, who's produced a lot of the earlier pirate quests, including Rocking Out, I believe. And they both, I think they've got differing opinions on whether it should be one or two. But I think it would suit either. We need to have more discussions about that.
Okay, so he also went on to say, what about continuing Glough's storyline in the next Stone quest?
Yeah, so the original developer of Prisoner of Glough put together a brief for the poll we did last year. And in it there was a certain amount about Glough. Yeah, Glough does feature. Yeah. Been certainly kind of invisible on the sidelines up until this point. And there'll be more of him featured.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, more from him then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Parazard. A Zamorak quest this year was mentioned in the VIP Q&A, but not in this thread.
Yeah. Yeah, so this very much kind of ties into what I said just a little bit previously, which is that there may be content on quests out this year that we've almost put this kind of stamped it and said dead cert. That is one that we want.
Yeah.
I can't reveal too much. I really like what we did with One of a Kind, which kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And really surprised people. And I think there's a certain fragment of our player base who like that, who like being surprised. Just like construction was just a small hint in the behind the scenes that chairs were coming. You'll be able to sit down. There's almost that feeling of they like to be surprised. And this kind of falls under the category of something I'd like to surprise.
Okay. Ooh, surprises coming then. Excellent. Going for quests, sent in a question, which was, what happens if a certain quest wins, but its curator is busy with another project?
Yeah, this inevitably happens when you're working as we do, and we've got so many projects ongoing, and we want to deliver what players want in the polls. And obviously the players aren't aware of who is free in terms of curatorships. We want to get this content out as soon as possible for you so you can enjoy it. And we're seeing this, that certain curators just aren't available. Mod Jane is working on the Elf City right now, for example, when a number of other players might want him on other pieces of content. The way we've accommodated that is that those curators are more involved than you could ever believe in that content. They are true liaisons. They are looking at the design overview, design document. They're in feedback meetings. They're constantly giving their opinion on what should be there. And for a number of these curators, Mod Chris L, for example, has put together an idea of what he wanted to do with the Elf quest. Mod Jane has taken that Elf quest pitch, incorporated a lot of the ideas. So their fingerprints are all over those pieces of content. Please don't feel that they are going to be absent.
Okay. So what's it like sometimes then when you're looking at doing a quest? Is there a bit of a fight?
Is there a fight?
Yeah.
Well, inevitably there's going to be...
I always imagine there's like this kind of like...
Yeah,
there should be some kind of thing.
Alan versus MMG style sumo suits.
Yeah, get in the sumo suits. You want it, let's fight for it.
No matter how small the conflict, inevitably it goes down to sumo suits. It's what we do. At least the thumb war. But yeah, it's so the sense is that the person developing the content does have to have prerogative. It's important that the developer is passionate about what they're producing.
Yes.
But it's also important that they do listen and take on board player expectations. They're looking on the forums, often asking questions on the forums, and the intentions of the original developer. We also don't want to contradict any law that's in there. So there's a lot. It's a lot of spinning plates for a developer. I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah.
It's been particularly difficult for people like Mod Ollie, who's come in as a new developer, immediately went on Missing Presumed Death, and to take on player expectation, existing law, and also other curators. And that had to kind of keep them all back, fight them away. But he's got the guns, he's got the muscles. So he can do it. But inevitably there are conflicts, but we're a good-natured bunch.
That's good,
Exactly.
though. I mean, there is so much more that goes on than just handing someone a piece of paper. There you go, you're working on this.
Often the curators just want to see another quest in their series. I'm really excited about it. Mod Nancy, when she left, R.I.P. Poor Nancy. No, she's still alive. Sorry, wait a minute. It's gone elsewhere.
What's that email?
Was more than happy to give it over to Mod Raven, who shares. I don't know how it's possible to share a sense of humour with Mod Nancy, but does in some way share a sense of humour, and really kind of sought Mod Raven out and said, "Please take on the Penguin." So of course, there's these spiritual successors, these people who really want to keep them going.
I know that she used to ran it by her mum as well, didn't she?
Yeah, that's it. So I'm sure Mod Raven runs it by Nancy's mum as well. Yeah.
I'm sure we still have access to Nancy's mum.
We still have. I'm sure we do have access to Nancy's mum. Yes.
Okay. Armadillo RS17. Can we change history in time travelling quests?
I would be hugely disappointed if we didn't have a time travelling quest that didn't involve some causality somewhere.
Yeah.
You watch your Back to the Futures and your Star Treks, and whenever you've got a bit of time travel, there's always got to be ramifications to changing something. Yeah. You step on a moth and then suddenly there are T-Rexes running around the world when you get back. That sort of thing. That's exactly what's going to happen, so I think I've just announced T-Rexes for Gillinor. But you get the idea.
You can just imagine the raptor going forward in time.
Yeah. I don't think the Making History and Meeting History quests are great. I really do like them. But in terms of causality and changing things in the real world, there hasn't been so much of that. And I think we could do something with that.
Okay, I'm going to let you pronounce this next name. Look at that one.
Oh, Wahisatel. Hey, it's Wahisatel, my buddy. I hope he sees me as buddy. So, we have Twitter conversations.
Okay, so he said, why would time travel be standalone when we already have time travel quest series?
So the Meeting History, Making History quests, you could argue, are, they're time travel quests. Why not put it in that storyline? So for me, the Meeting History, Making History quests share a time period. They share a way of getting there, and they share kind of common themes in terms of what I'm doing in those time periods. So this is more about, okay, we have the enchanted key now. Could we go somewhere else? Could we do something completely different with it? So, yeah, I do see those as different. We have ideas for what that might be. We would likely poll those ideas of what we might be, but think of different time periods. I think that limiting ourselves to the first age, when Guthix was present, I think we can go elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He also asked one other question,
okay.
which was with the Dragonkin quests. Can I do that again?
No, we're taking that. That's a wrap.
With the Dragonkin quest be a continuation of the storyline started in the Ritual of Majorat.
Yeah, so the Dragon King quest is one of our pillar storylines. So, Dragon King quest. The Dragon King storyline is one of our pillar storylines. Yeah. It's one that we want to do more with in terms of, you've got the Dactyl who are giving in to their urges with the Stone of Jazz, and you've got the Necrocertes. Oh, I've got it. And, wait a minute, I've got that completely wrong, sorry. Oh, man. The Necrocertes are giving in to the urges, and the Dactyl are looking to sever the connection to the Stone of Jazz. So, in a whole, that whole storyline is following it on. We would likely poll the next Dragonkin quest, if it gets chosen, about what it focuses on, which Dragonkin it focuses on, and which storyline it focuses on. So please don't feel that this is the end. There will be another poll that follows on, because you are right, Wahisatel, in that there are a number of different things that you want from it. It might be that you want a kind of 5th age version of the Dragonkin.
Right.
And that is what Wahisatel is talking about, that follow-on from Ritual with the Majorat. Maybe the ramifications not having the stuff of Armadillo, maybe the ramifications of the player teleporting away the Stone of Jazz, that sort of thing. Or it could be a more 6th age version of it.
Okay.
So we might poll that to the players.
Okay. Nailed the poll.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not? Runic Lord, he's popped up again.
Yes, yeah, another one from we see a lot of on the forums and Twitter.
Yeah. Will any of these quests rework old quests?
I can't think of a single. So I don't think a single one of these will rework a quest.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to regret saying that, but I'm almost definite that those quests will not rework another.
Okay.
These quests are going to be done by the retention team. Not by we have a funnel team which is looking at the opening game experience, and the funnel team will be those who are looking at kind of those quests that are not up to standard in the opening game and looking to rework those. This is the retention team. We are looking to add to what is there.
Okay. And he also went on to say, what difficulty can we expect from some of the different options?
That's a cracking question. It's going to be quite a convoluted answer, I'm afraid.
This is the one that's important to me.
Yeah. So. It's a shame I don't have a list in front of me, and hopefully we can give you more information when it comes to the next stage of the polls. And maybe in an FAQ we could do more about
we can do a follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But each of the quests, it's a case-by-case basis, will have a different quest difficulty attached. Yeah. For me, for example, a good example is the Sir Owen continuation. The Sir Owen original quest was a novice quest. To suddenly come out with something that is Grandmaster seems like too big a leap. A player who's finished that quest wants to know what happens. I would say that would have to be Master at the very most. Meanwhile, other quests just cry out to be Grandmaster or Master.
Right.
So it is a case-by-case basis, but certainly our kind of design direction, the skewing that we've got with our quests at the moment is towards high level. So you can imagine that the majority of these quests will be skewing to the higher end of the scale.
Right, okay.
If that's an answer. Hopefully we can give you an FAQ of what each particular quest means and a little bit more information about what each quest might involve.
I think that as this is it's going to be evolving, really, isn't it, with the different polls and the different options, and I think definitely a follow-up.
Yeah.
Pollcast.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. You know, I just
getting quite comfy on this sofa.
I found my groove.
I
made a Dave-shaped print in this leather sofa.
Yeah. Okay. FSWE1.
I think he's changed his name on the forums because I keep on calling him Fusswell. So he's changed it to Fusswell. So again, I cannot apologise more, Fusswell, for constantly getting your name wrong.
So he said, he or she said, we've had 6th age story content for 1 year straight now. Why do you poll this instead of deciding to keep a balance between 6th age and non-6th age quests yourself?
As usual, a very educated question. That's good. It's a strong question. But I would... So if we looked at the past 7 quests, if we really kind of critiqued those 7 quests, 3 of them I would consider to be 6th age. You're looking at The World Wakes, you're looking at Death of Chivalry, and you're looking at Missing Presumed Death. Yeah. You've got Birthright of the Doors, which I think is resolutely a continuation of what came before. You've got Demon Slayer, which is kind of a rework with Spiritual Imagining, largely standalone. And you've got Bring Home the Bacon, again a standalone. I would argue that is a year of 6th Age content. To me, that's maintaining a decent balance. Kind of 3 of the 7 quests that we last launched were 6th Age. I think that's a decent balance. And I think we are maintaining that. That's why when we looked at the quest for this year, we saw that there was a number that were 6th Age. We had a continuation quest in the form of the Elf quest, for example, which I see as your 5th Age. It does incorporate 6th Age elements particularly. There's no Seren involved, for example. And a number of standalone pieces of content. I thought we got the balance right. And the reason we're doing this poll is we've got the balance right for this year, but we had that one slot. Which way do we go? Which direction do we go? Do we go 6th Age, or do we go into what we see as continuation quests? And we're leaving that to the players to determine. You're almost helping us kind of make that balance right.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'd argue that the past year hasn't been solely 6th Age. I'm hoping we've got that balance right, and that will continue into the future. But also, we've got the balance right for this year, and this is just your way of determining what we do for this poll.
Okay.
Sorry, I rambled a bit there. There we go.
No, that's fine. I think it was a pretty tough question to answer.
I mean, first of all, it's obviously on my Twitter feed, and if you've got any comments about that, and anybody else about the kind of the balance of quests as we've gone for the past year, then I'm really interested in hearing it, because obviously we want to make sure you're happy.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And Orange Nebula. Are the quest series represented in the next in-series option the only quest series you feel need finishing besides the Myrique, of course?
Yeah, so we talked just a little bit previously about the vampire quest, and the reason why there is no Myrique quest this year, because it can't sit there with the elf quest. I hate to say it, the elf quest is big. It's with the city as well. It's just it really demands a lot of work, and I think you demand that there's a lot of work put into that, and we're going to make sure that happens. So it couldn't fill in that poll. There are a number of series that absolutely we see as continuation. We had to draw a line somewhere, otherwise we were just kind of filling it up and up with a number of other quests. One in particular for me is the Dungeoneering Saga.
Right.
Floor 61 is one that we absolutely would like to go into more detail with. I think there's other 6th Age stories that we like to keep a surprise, that we know that we want to do, but you won't know why they're important or why they're interesting until you've played some upcoming content. So there was no point polling that. So that's another one. So yeah, please don't feel that. I mean, obviously, let me know if there are any quest series that you'd love continued that aren't listed here, but please don't feel that those quest series are abandoned.
Okay. And to sort of round this off, Google says he expressed a concern in their question about potential quality of the quest. Right. So how would you answer those concerns?
So, yeah, perfectly valid. I think any quest that we release, there should rightly be concerns. Has enough time been spent on it? Is that equal to the expectation of the players in that quest? And we always try to meet those. And you could argue that maybe we haven't in previous quests. But the point is that we're asking these questions with a great deal amount of time before the quest is released. The quest is released towards the end of this year. I can't give an exact date because we're still working on that.
Yeah.
And that gives us enough time to get you polled on these things, to go on the forums and ask what you expect from this sort of question, get you involved, and really make it a solid, strong piece of content. So we've done this with enough time. I'm hoping people are okay with us polling something in March that eventually gets released towards the end of the year. Yeah. But you'll see why, because it gives us that amount of time to make sure it's strong and it's really what you expect.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Sorry, I got serious there, didn't I?
Yeah, that's very
very I was wiggling my toes while talking. I realised I wiggled my toes when serious. That's interesting.
Okay. Something else we've learned about you. So that really is the end of the questions that I have for you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, well, please do. I
always want to try and drag secrets out.
Get some kind of secret out of it. Well, I mean, obviously, I think a call to arms is needed. Get voting in that poll. I mean, definitely. The more answers we get, the more that we understand that we kind of represented you. If there's a low number of votes, then we worry that not everybody has had voice. So get in there, get voting, get other people to vote. And and there will be another poll coming up in which you get to determine exactly what that quest is, and then later on, who knows, maybe other polls and more feedback so you can influence it. And hopefully there's another quest this year which will have some player involvement, which is a little hint to future stuff There we go. Yes, this isn't the last quest we're
Another
polling.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
so in the near future, we are going to be polling something that's less player designed and more player written, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Okay, that
So-
sounds rather interesting.
Yeah, because obviously you're limited to the options that we put in front of you
Yeah.
with this quest poll. And we always understand that. We know that you can't have unlimited input. And I think this next quest, I think the aim is more to get some kind of player ideas in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Brilliant.
That's the reveal I can
There's a little
reveal.
tease there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
indeed.
definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining me once again
It's
on the sofa.
absolutely welcome.
It
Love
is
it.
always a pleasure. I can just sit here and listen to you for hours.
And same
Oh,
with
the
you.
story man. Okay, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining us.
indeed.
Thank you to everybody listening, and I will be back next week with another developer.